Hi everyone, today I'd like to share my 3-minute digital tools pitch challenge which I presented at the Research Bazaar, Northern Territory 2023. This was an exercise, or rather a competition, where HDR students had to share the digital tools they're using for their research. I decided to talk about NVivo and also talk about its significance within data analysis. The challenge was to speak within 3 minutes. It was also supposed to be easily understood, so that meant no use of jargon and technical terms. And lastly, the slide or the visuals were supposed to present the idea that you're trying to communicate to the audience. The next slide will be the main slide that I presented at this challenge, and I'll try to the best of my ability to recall the script or speech that I used for this 3-minute challenge. There might be some deviation from the original one because it was verbatim. So let's get to the next slide. Conversation and coding can change the world and end female genital cutting. Now you might ask, how is that possible? My answer is through the NVivo software, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. My research mainly focuses on female genital cutting in Pakistan. It is practiced in a small community. The girl's genitals are cut when she is 6 years old. Since she's too young, she has no say in it. It's a highly secretive practice, and most people simply don't know about it. So that means a lot of people in Pakistan just don't know about it. Now this presents a problem, because there are no national statistics, awareness campaigns, laws, policies, or even conversations about it. And that's why I interviewed Pakistani women who were cut as young girls. I call these interviews conversations. By having these conversations, I collected missing data to understand the cultural and contextual phenomenon of female genital cutting and why it still continues. These conversations took up many hours, they were deeply personal, and carried so many details that I couldn't possibly analyze all of it without a digital filing system. So I used NVivo. It's a qualitative software which analyzes large amounts of data, or in this case, hours and hours of conversations. Imagine a huge box where you can organize, sort, visualize, and make meaning of data. I saved these conversations here and then started coding. For this research, coding means identifying major themes in these conversations. Now these codes or themes, they help make meaning of words and phrases and sentences people use in conversations. They determine patterns, implications, and trends of the practice. And the NVivo features helped me achieve this. The first feature I used was the frequency feature, which highlights how many times certain words and phrases have been used in the data or these conversations. It highlighted the language sensitivity and helped me understand the use of cultural euphemisms within this practice. The second feature I used was the sentiment feature to categorize how people feel, whether it was negative, positive, or neutral. And lastly, and thirdly, I used visual maps and charts to communicate trends and patterns of female genital cutting. This shows that through coding, you can communicate data and you can share your findings with the world, which in essence can lead to social justice and change. Through these findings, we can bridge the data gap and frame not only culturally sensitive laws and policies, but also culturally inclusive ones. We can also frame awareness campaigns to encourage the bodily autonomy of young girls. Moreover, we can improve communication pathways and find effective ways of communicating with communities in their contextual setting and thus find solutions together. To end a practice, we must first understand it. And that's why digital tools like NVivo will help end female genital cutting. Not only will this help Pakistan, but it serves as a learning point that can be applied to the rest of South Asia, which is yet to achieve the goal of ending female genital cutting. That's why I believe that these conversations are important and can be coded into findings that we can then transform into change that is impactful within the world. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.